Let's have a little talk about pocket billiards. A little honest talk. A real honest talk. A lot of times people tell me they practice. Say, oh, well, I practice 2-3 hours a day. And yet they don't seem to get any better. And when I ask them, well, what do you practice? They always tell me that they just shoot shots. They practice drills, they practice this, that. And I said, why do you practice? Well, to get better. Well, let me point out to you that practice, if your practice is not specific and deliberate, then you're wasting your time. If you don't have a purpose in your practice, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. And many players have played at the same level for years and years and years, and they read more books and they take more lessons and they do all this, and they never seem to improve. If that's you, then it's time to get real. And when I say get real, I mean define what it is you want to accomplish in pocket billiards. Write it down, and then declare why you want to accomplish that. And so now we're on the road. We know where you're going, we know what you want to do, and we know why you want to do it. Okay, so now when it comes to practice, when you practice, the only thing, I only want you to do one type of practice. One. Not 50 or 60. One. And that practice has to involve itself in skill development. If that practice is not specific skill development, then you are really wasting your time. So you're not trying to get better, just trying to bang balls, then forget it. And I've created the Road Players Training course. It's a long course. It's a tough course. It takes as much as 2 years to get through it all. Because I wanted to give you what it takes to become a great player. The Road Player Training course is just such a program designed to take you one level at a time, one lesson at a time. There's over 180 lessons. I didn't want to soft soap you, talk you into some sizzling carnival circus type thing. I wanted you to have the real nuts and bolts. And the real nuts and bolts is mastering each skill level. Mastering each skill level. Now let's classify you as a warrior, as a trainer. You're training in the martial arts, or you're training in the Zen art of archery, or you're training in the art of pocket billiards. You're a trainer. And from now on, every move you make has to be specific, and it has to be deliberate. It creates a neurological response. When you do something on the table, it creates a neurological response, and you want to be in control of what that neurological response is. You don't want it to be subject to the whims of action. You want it to be controlled. Perfect practice. Now, what perfect practice does, it creates a chemical in your brain. When you specify exactly what you want to accomplish by way of skill development, it creates a chemical in your brain, and they have a name for that chemical. It's called myelin. Now that actually grows in your brain. Now say you come to the table and you practice lesson 26 in the Road Player Training course. Every time you hit that shot, the neurological response in your brain logs that. It's like muscle memory. It logs it. But if you hit it a couple times and jump onto another one, jump onto another one, jump onto another one, you practice haphazard, then it can never lodge the neurological response where you will have that shot. That's why every single lesson I have calls for you to sign it when you can do it 5 times in a row. And trust me, even the first lesson in book 2 took me 3 or 4 days of working on that. I mean, I was ready to take that out. I really was. I said, man, I don't know, maybe this is too much. But I knew it was the right shot. I knew you had to have it. So I left it in there, and I worked on it. And finally, after a while, I got it. And listen to this. A couple years later, now I'm filming all of these clips for you. I went back to that shot, hit it 5 times in a row like nothing. You know why? Because I had the myelin. I had the neurological substance in my brain for that shot. I mastered it. It was mine. Let me tell you about myelin. Myelin is a chemical substance in your brain that establishes itself when you repeat something. If you repeat something often enough, you'll have a real strong dose of myelin in your brain, and the shots will then become easy. There was a girl who listened to a tremendous symphony piece played by the piano, and she wanted to do that. She hadn't played the piano, and in order to play at that level, you're looking at 12 years of apprenticeship. But she wanted to play that, and she told a coach, she said, you know, I want you to teach me that concert, that piece. And I don't want to learn anything else, just that piece. So he took her under his wing. And what they did is he would only let her play 4 notes. She had to play those 4 notes until she mastered them. And then she'd go on to the next 4 notes and play them until she mastered them. Then she'd play all 8 notes until she mastered them. And little by little, this girl, in a year's time, mastered that piece, that rendition. And she went out on stage as a total unknown, young girl. In fact, they referred to her as the janitor. Said the janitor would like to play a piece. She came out and sat down and played like a mastered pianist, like a master pianist. She stunned the audience with her perfection. And that was the only song she could play. But see what she did, she perfected it. She mastered it. She built the myelin so she could perform that difficult piece. What you need to do is narrow your focus. No longer will you be scattered all over the place, working on this, working on that. You're going to narrow it. You're going to build that myelin so that that electrical neuron in your brain sends signals. If I were a gambler and I could measure the myelin on the other player's brain and measure mine, and I saw that mine was far more developed than his, then I'd gamble with any amount of money. It'd be a nice thing if we could figure out a way we could check the other person's brain. All right, let me tell you, Dr. George Bartzokis. He's a neurologist at UCLA. And he said this. He said, all skills, all language, all music, all movement are made up of living circuits. And all circuits grow according to certain rules. So if we can control how these circuits grow, then we are well on our way to becoming masters. And that's what I've done. I've created about 180 notes, 180 little steps you need to take. And I've asked you to master them. I haven't pulled any punches. I didn't think, you try this drill once and see if you have fun at it. I said, no, you master this. So if you want to become that great player, then the Road Players Training Program is all set up for you. When you shy away from your practice, you decide to hit balls, you decide to have fun. When you shy away from your practice, your myelin begins to disappear. So if you want to keep your myelin, keep your muscle memory sharp, you have to continue the practice. If you were a 5 in the APA and you became a Road Player member, I could turn you into a 7 within 3 months. I'm serious. Because you would go through first the fundamentals, and then you'd go through some very serious shots. All shots equate to skill development. So if I raised your skill, then you would naturally move up in the ladder. But what I suggest is You come over here for 21 days training and you'll go home and beat all the players that have been breaking even with you or even beating you. And so let's say you have a player that just a slightly bit ahead of you and has no respect for you. And you come over here and you go through the training and you go home, you can play him for any amount of money he wants to play for, and most likely he'd play for a large sum. So you could conceivably get yourself a backer, say, look, send me over to the Monk, let me get my game together, I'll come back and we'll rob all these people that have been beating me. Now let me just tell you, before I let you go, what skill is. Skills are physical cells that wrap neuron circuits around your brain in direct response to specific experiences. Now I'm designed specifically to help you build your skills. They're not just random stuff. And so if your training is detailed around skill development, you're going to build a flood of circuits around your brain, and you'll be able to turn in a stunning performance. This program is for that solitary warrior who's all business. When it comes to battle, you're all business. You want to be able to go into your battle with two things. One, you want to be able to say, I know this shot, I have experience. And the other is, I'm going to trust my training. I'm going to trust my training to make this shot. Last comment, that beautiful pool cue you've been looking at was made by Howard Smith. You can find him on Facebook. He's from Charlotte. He's a genius. He's retired, 74 years old. Made me that cue. I don't make any money from Howard. He made me the cue. I love the cue, and I'm very happy to tell others about it. The Road Player Training Program, I'm not known as the Monk, I'm known as the Wolf. That's my nickname, that's my persona. I want to act like a wolf when I play in a match. So Howard put the wolf baying at a moon down there in the bottom of my cue. And I just love the cue, it hits fantastic. Get in touch with Howard Smith, makes a jump cue and a beautiful break cue as well. Alright, I will see you in the Road Player Training Program. Don't delay. Come on, join up with me now. You know what you want. You know this is the way to get it. One step at a time. We're going to play 4 notes at a time, and we're going to get it done.